Oh, I feel so good. I'm getting so many made today. So anyway, yeah, I got a lot done. I took Tuesday of this week off and Friday, which I wasn't sure I wanted to do, but I want to let like things kind of percolate and popcorn, as they say. So when I get on here, I want to make a bunch. Anyway, so I'm having fun. And right now, I took a little break, but I want to tell the story about. I know we kind of finished up on Lincoln number 6, but there was a part I didn't put in because it had nothing to do with my classes. We had recess out back, and they let out certain classes at certain times, just like most schools do. Well, in the basement of our school, there was a special school for they used to say handicap. I know that's not the politically correct word, but that's what it was called. And that school in the bottom was also our fallout shelter because they made us do the, this the practice for atomic war. We had to go down there and have these little re, um, retreats, I guess you could call them. We'd have to stay down there for a while and see what it was like, to be in a basement and everything. But the school was down there, and they weren't there every single day. But when our class went outside, I think this was fifth grade, or yeah, it might have been fifth grade because I think it was when I was in Mrs. Latham's class. So we were let out on that side of the school, and there was in the back there was a ramp, for the people in the wheelchairs. And I think this might have been my first God kind of experience outside of my family realm. And this is beautiful. It I think about it now and I get choked up easy. You guys have figured that out already, right? Anyway, uh they would wheel them out and they would walk, and some of them would visit with us, and I was like, since it was bars, I was wanted to swing on the bars and everything. We were hollered at, of course, don't do that, and that was fifth grade. That was my real rebellious year because I had that teacher. Anyway, I was out there and I was playing on the bars. I was just kind of hanging on, and there was this. I don't know the political correct way, so if I say it wrong, please forgive me. There was a man of skin color. Okay, is that the right way? If not, let me know. I'll fix myself. And he reminded me of the porter on the train. If you guys haven't seen my video about the train, and he reminded me, he was a kind face, and I gravitated and I went over, and loved about 3 or 4, and he was friendly and he was older. He wasn't supposed to be in K-8. I think he was high school age, but because that was the school that had that facility and those resources in the basement for those people that needed those resources and teachers, that was set up down there. So the older kids were in there too. And he started to sing, and he had the voice of an angel, and he sang like so wonderfully. And remember, I talked about the porter and his white gloves and how I was so impressed, and his hands would move almost magically. Well, this gentleman, and I just say gentleman because he's high school age, and he started to sing to us kids. And it was just, it was a spiritual, very, I didn't know it at the time. I'm fifth grade, I'm a little brat. Anyway, he started singing and he sang, he's got the whole world in his hands. And they take his hands. Remember that thing? I have a thing about hands. They're just beautiful. And he'd put them out there, and his hands were huge. To me, I'm not a kid. I mean, they're probably normal size, but to me, they seem like, and he'd go, he's got you and me, brother, in his hands, and he'd have his hands out like that. And I was swept away. I could just listen to him sing, and I just kept leaning in and leaning in. And he was so kind, and he would wait for us to come out, and then he'd start singing to us. And so I looked up the words to the song, and so it goes over to, he's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the sun and the moon in his hands. He's got the little bitty baby in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. And you know what? At that age, I didn't know who he was. Okay, I didn't know anything about up there. I had not a clue. But that gentleman, I don't know where he is. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know how long he lived or what the story was. I couldn't even tell you his name. But thank you, God, for that little touch in my life. I still carry it. And that's kind of goes back to why I'm making these videos, because I don't know what I'll say that will pass that on to you. But that was a season and fifth grade, and it's still here, and I still get teary eyed. It was a good season, like I said, with Mr. Canfrio. He puts people in our season, and I pretty much bank on that now. Sometimes I get really nervous. What's going to happen? But most of the times I know it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. All of it's going to be okay. All right. I don't know which one I'm going to make next, but I'm on a roll, so I'm going to make as many as I